Hey, Kyrie, are you noticing? I know every game is unique and different, but are you noticing any commonalities in these last four games that you guys want to clean up?
Well, I mean, it's about time we got tested, in terms of just having to think the game on a different level, knowing that teams are shaping up for the playoffs. And we've done our best to make sure that we're ready to play. But now we got to think the game going against some of these good teams, especially on the road. I mean, it's inevitable in terms of going into other people's home floors. They know the rims well. They know the courts well. I mean, everybody feels comfortable in their home. So we just got to be aware of that. And I think these last few games have proven that. It's tough to win on the road when you're making mistakes and turn the ball over. And, sometimes throughout the possessions in a game, you're not playing with the resolve you would want. So stuff happens, but I think it's good that we have these tests now and these challenges. It's been too easy at times. So it's good.
What are you on that point? What are you guys learning about yourselves? Coach Joe Harris also talked about adversity being a good thing and this being important before you start that postseason run. What are you learning about yourselves right now?
I think I would have a different answer for you if I was in year 6 or year 5. I mean, I'm in year 10, so I've been through just different journeys. I've failed, I've succeeded, I've been in a role where I've wanted to play that role. I've been in roles where I didn't want to play, and I think that's the beauty of journeys. Being on a team is we have to define that identity. We could say that we're learning a lot about ourselves through the game of basketball, but really it's just the mind and the body being on one accord, and then us being on the same page. It's basketball. We're not going to overcomplicate it. We're not going to make it like this is a war, this is this, and it's not an overcomplicate. It's the game of basketball. Like, it's just who's better that night, who's going to stop the other team and be more physical, and who's going to make the right plays, from beginning to end. So, we're not going to make it about semantics or feeling good. It's basketball. Like, I'm not even going to bring that in here. So it's good.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kai. Going back to your thoughts about thinking the game against some of these really good teams that you're playing down the stretch, is that elevated in the fourth quarter of these games? I mean, 18-1 in Milwaukee the other night, and tonight I think it was like 13-2, gave up like 60% shooting. Is that elevated in these fourth quarters?
I mean, other teams know, especially when they're playing at home, that this fourth quarter is winning time in terms of picking up the pace. Both second units are in. Some starters are in sometimes, so the game could have different flows. If you look at the Bucks game, primarily they have 4 starters on the floor starting the fourth quarter. That they need to have that type of separation in the game, with their players. And tonight, some starters were in with that second unit, but primarily, we had a few starters in, or K in, or KD in, and just figuring it out in the fourth quarter. But our level of play has to match or to overpower, overmatch our opponent. And as you're seeing it when teams go on runs, we get a timeout, but we got to be able to respond. And I think it goes back to my first point. It's just we need to be tested like that. We're not a perfect basketball club. I don't think we would be doing ourselves a great service if we weren't honest. We haven't played well in terms of spurts throughout the game, especially when it matters. And we just got to get better continuity down the stretch. The ISO basketball down the stretch is not going to get us over the hump. We just got to run some quality plays, some quality possessions, and then figure out a balance of where we're special with our ISO game and enable our ability to score. So just finding a balance right now, but it's good for us.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Hi, Kyrie. Tonight was the 35th different starting lineup you guys have had. Steve talked about how you don't really have the common experience together. Just how daunting has it been to go through this period with all these injuries, and can you, you're a week from the end of the season, can you pull it all together when Harden comes back?
Greg, I don't know about daunting, daunting in this game, in this business. I don't know about that, but it's been an adjustment for us to learn one another on the fly, learn each other's games on the fly. 35 games with different lineups, you're learning on the fly. So, and we can say, we're professionals. We know what to expect from one another. And when things are going well, we're happy, hooray. And then when things are not going well, we need to do this. We need to make some adjustments. And I think that's normal. That's healthy. But for us, we're really just focused on our health first. And we want to get guys prepared for whatever that next stage looks like, the main stage looks like of when things matter and it's win or go home. You just want to be as healthy as possible. And then you get hot at a certain point. Use your experience to your advantage. You get a few guys back, try different lineups and line up that match up against the team. You get a chance to really dive in. But right now, it's good that we're on this road being tested.
Malika
Hasn't been daunting, Greg.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
I'm glad it hasn't been daunting, Kyrie.
Our life can't be that. Life's too simple.
If you're lucky. Before you took off on this road trip, you told me that it would be successful if potentially you guys got back to doing things. You continue to do things the right way. If you played well, and maybe it means a little bit more just because of where it falls in the season. You've talked a lot tonight about kind of the X's and O's of what you need to do better on the court, but kind of from a more macro philosophical perspective of the team. I mean, getting back to doing things the right way, is there an energy or an effort that you think needs to be exerted that isn't, or is it just about playing through it and it'll all come in time?
Well, you can't make up time spent with anyone unless you just go do it, and we are in we're in a part of our journey right now where, like I said, we're being challenged, and we have to look deep within in terms of what can each one of us do in our roles to be better for the collective unit. It has to be about our team. It has to be about we. And I think we do a great job of that. But now we are asking each other to raise or to go to a certain level. Some of us have been on these championship levels. Some of us have not. And trying to mesh that together takes time. Usually it takes teams, 1 or 2 seasons, 3 seasons, or the case may be. But now we're heading into kind of this playoff run where we have to make it up on the fly, and that's okay. But at the same time, things are not going to look perfect, and we have to inevitably be ready for that. So, us as leaders, myself, all the rest of the leaders on our team are going to do a great job of just preparing one another and just simplifying things. But it starts with the mind and the body being on the same page, and we got to think the game. It's the only way you're going to win that gold ball, that Larry O'Brien, is you got to think the game and you got to play defense. And you got to overmatch physicality. We've seen it, defense wins championships. We've seen some of the best offensive teams, get by. But defensively is where we got to make our mark. And I feel like we'll be able to do that moving forward, just having these tests and challenges now.
Bruce Beck with NBC New York.
Kyrie, you defied logic and gravity a lot tonight with shots that could have been taken from San Antonio and Houston. I'm just wondering, if scoring 45 in a game like this, if the joy is somewhat taken away by a loss?
Great individual performance, but, like I said, and I've said it throughout my career, just throw that one away. It was one of those performances, great, but it's about us. It's about that win column. And it's about doing things that we can carry on to the next game, finding that consistency. Scored a bunch of points in my career, empty points. And, right now, I just want to score when it matters and do what's needed for, us to be successful as a team. So whatever that takes, if it means 45 tonight, in terms of getting a win, great. If it means getting 12 points, only shoot 9 times or 8 times, and we get the win still, same emotion, same happiness.
Thanks, Kyrie. We appreciate it.
No, thank you guys. I'm safe.